Bloom William woke up drenched in sweat. Suddenly feeling smothered by the covers that clung to his naked skin, he threw them off in panic. He had been dreaming of green fields and flowers, but his dream had quickly turned into a nightmare. In his dream he had reached the edge of the cliff where he often went to watch the birds. The water below was a crystalline blue, and unable to stop himself, he jumped down into the water. He fell slowly but inexorably, like a fly trapped in honey, and as he fell the tranquil waters had thickened into a sickly green sludge. The waves which had seemed calming a moment before now looked more like ripples that belonged to some terrible force below. They came rhythmically, and they made no sound, like a whisper speaking the heartbeat of an unseen giant. As the liquid enveloped him, William's flesh began melting and sloughing off the bone. He tried to scream and the green fluid invaded his mouth, burning him from the inside. Then he woke up. It was just a dream, he told himself, but his heart raced and his skin tingled. Daybreak was still far off, when William would get up from his cabin and tend to his crops and his goats. He tried to go back to sleep but he couldn't bring himself to close his eyes and he found himself staring at the walls that seemed to be advancing on him, trying to suffocate him. William sat transfixed by a mixture of fatigue and low dread for what felt like hours before deciding to get up and eat something. Usually a meal would put him to sleep. There was only hard cheese and a couple rashers of bacon left in the pantry. He began with the cheese, which tasted more of mold than of dairy, then found he was ravenous. He ate an entire wheel of cheese, then tore into the bacon, eating it raw. Grease and saliva dribbled down his chin but he didn't care. He didn't even stop to chew anymore, swallowing strips of flesh whole that wriggled down his throat. He ate until there was nothing left. Then, feeling bloated and vulnerable, William retreated back to the safety of his bed. He cocooned himself in the covers and began to drift in and out of sleep. In this half-conscious state the memory of the day before started to return to him. He had been hiking along the cliffs, he had passed through the forest and walked over the deep chasm from which many flowering vines bloomed.